Hi, everyone. I'm Cynthia Jenkins. I'm co-founder and chief marketing officer of skillsgapp, which you don't see on this screen. Our more commonly, fondly known name is our studio name, which is Skillionaire Games. And what I'm going to share today is a project brief on a case study on this little game that could. And I actually debated renaming the presentation just that little game that could, or a case study on hiding the broccoli, which is sort of a common conundrum and discussion with games used in education. But I did neither of those things. This is a case study on said game, HACKOUT Blackout. I wanted to give you a little context. So Skillionaire Games, aka skillsgapp, has a mission very intrinsically aligned with those of Games for Change, which is why it's such a pleasure to share this with you all. Ours is connecting youth to life-changing careers through game-changing play, specifically in under-resourced communities. This is something really dear to our heart. Specifically, middle school and high schoolers in under-resourced communities don't always have access to different careers and educational paths that maybe those in more metropolitan areas have. And so there's this systemic poverty cycle that we're trying to break. And these careers, they sort of fall under a sort of an umbrella term of advanced manufacturing, careers that require more than a high school diploma, but less than a college, four-year college degree. So this could be auto manufacturing, skilled trades, cyber, IT, and the like. So I wanted to share, so that's the sort of pretext for our challenge, the genesis of this HACKOUT Blackout game. So flashback, although it seems like 2 seconds ago, to COVID. And last year, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, and they're actually the largest geographical county in the US, they were hosting their annual STEM event called STEMapalooza. And typically this is an in-person event where all these kids come, 4th through 8th graders, actually through 2 neighboring counties, and they learn a lot about these kinds of careers, or people from the industry come. They show them the cool things you might do in different tech careers or skilled trades or cyber, and maybe exchange cards. Maybe it will impact kids' choices in their educational pathways. And so given that this was a virtual event, engagement was a real concern. And the theme of this was predominantly cybersecurity. And this isn't really conducive to just California. I mean, cybersecurity is on fire kind of everywhere. We've got some global hacking threats all over the world. So career awareness and pathways specific to cybersecurity and IT was a big deal. So our task was to come up with some sort of engagement gaming technology or mechanism to keep these kids engaged. So we came up with a solution, a mobile-friendly video game deployed during the event designed to simulate real-world cybersecurity scenarios. So you can see our little guy in the bottom right, but the narrative arc of this was Blackout, a notorious hacker threatening the privacy and security of STEMapalooza. And every person that did show up was required to do their part in saving the event. So sort of to picture it, you're looking at a screen if you're a student, and you have all these sort of virtual rooms, and you can go in and watch a video on skilled trades or on tech or software development. And you can answer a couple questions and do some Kahoots and those kinds of things. And then suddenly a pink icon comes up, and you're tasked with either going on your Chromebook or your phone to participate in a game of simulating some sort of cyber emergency. So I'm going to play a demo and walk you through a little bit of how it worked, and then I will share some results that are pretty cool and pretty exciting. So how it worked is kids created an account, they had their username, and there was a leaderboard. There were, as I said, it was a really large county, or is a really large county, so there's gazillions of schools. They pick an avatar, and the thing that's interesting here is cybersecurity, you kind of picture the guy, in front of a computer screen, but the avatar really represented different industries that you need cybersecurity. As I mentioned before, we have 4 5-minute games, each simulating real-world cyber events. That first one was Bot Blocker, where Blackout hacked the network, and kids had to block his chain of corrupt data. This one is Power Trip, where the power grid was hacked and they had to reroute the power back. Wire Wrath, this is Blackout had disconnected the network hub and kids had to reconnect without crossing any paths. And then our final one, super hard, you had to be very dexterous, is Mixed Signals. And so here Blackout hacked out the Wi-Fi signal and the kids had to realign their frequencies. Full disclosure, I was not able to complete that one, but you can see at the end of each of these games, obviously I went really quickly, but these they got progressively harder in those 5 minutes. The kids were given some sort of cybersecurity fact. So how many jobs are available in their area, what kinds of jobs, what kinds of pay, and maybe where to go to school to pursue those kinds of careers. And this is something that in 5 minutes is something pretty compelling to have something really specific to their own backyard. San Bernardino is a very under-resourced area. There's different kinds of pockets. And so it's really important for a lot of these kids and families to stay local, not only to protect local industry, but for families to stay intact. So I will share with you results. We did, the results, we had over 5,000 users. And that, if that doesn't sound very impressive, let me just give you a little context. So as I said, there were probably between the two counties, maybe 14 to 15,000 kids expected to attend. Well, less than 5,000 attended. So we had more users, more players than we did attendees, which tells us that maybe their siblings at home or different family members were also playing the game. The average play time was over 37 minutes. And so I'm no athlete, but there were 4 games, 5 minutes each. You would have expected 20 if they stayed throughout the day. These were timed, so they couldn't get through them all at once. They were deployed maybe every hour, hour and a half. And then 451 badge completions. And so when you look at kind of the burn rate, this definitely exceeds the norm. So that was really, really exciting. So what we did was the event happened on a Friday, and we thought, well, what would happen if we just left it open all weekend? Would they come back? Is this something that is too academic, or did it feel too tied to something that was schoolish? What would happen? So I have a few verbatims here, but while I have it at the bottom right, the recall of some of the information from this game was 89%. I come from an advertising and marketing background way back when, and that's insane. That's phenomenal. And so if you think about the game was deployed on a Friday, we did an exit survey that Monday. And so these are some kids that they learned, you can see here, they learned that the skills they learned, they could be making a lot of money right in their own backyard. And also they can stop bad things from happening. And so that, to go full circle, in terms of the little game that could, this is being deployed across the country and actually growing into a much bigger game that's more traditional mobile of enduring play with that geospecificity to help a lot of different regions. And then also in terms of hiding the broccoli conundrum, my takeaway is you don't need to pour chocolate sauce all over it. The kids will eat it if it's paired with the right meal. So thank you so much. Any questions, you can email me at cynthia@skillsgapp.com with 2 Ps.